This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, fine. Now we will discuss about the data lake Gen 1 and Gen 2. Actually, data lake Gen 1 and Gen 2, Microsoft prepared to efficiently save the files to use the capabilities of the Hadoop. They have the Blob also. Blob also you can able to do, but why they prepared additionally Azure Data Lake is this is they looked for only whatever files they have saved. It will use the capability of the Hadoop, and whenever we are going to process, it will give the good performance. That is the reason Microsoft prepared separate storage like Azure Data Lake Gen 1. As you see, Azure Data Lake Gen 1 is an enterprise-wide hyperscale repository for big data analytic workloads. So, for example, you have a file. You want to process that file using uh, Databricks or Azure Data Lake Analytics. So if you have the data in the data lake, it will give the better performance. So you can able to load data from the Blob also, but Blob is designed for general purpose. It is only specifically designed for the data loads only. So for example, if you are filing the data lake 1, Gen 1, suppose you can use that file for the further processing using Databricks. For example, you are getting the data like, so for example, streaming data or logs data. So for example, on top of this one, you want to do some analysis, you want to run some Databricks cluster or Azure Data Lake Analytics. This is a good place to save the type of data in the Azure Data Lake Gen 1. Azure Data Lake enables you to capture data of any size, type, and ingestion speed in one single place for operational exploratory analytics. If you want to do further analytics compared to Azure storage, data lake is the better option. It will actually cost more than the Blob, but whenever you are going with a different purpose, like so for example, if you want to store some backup data, for example, you are taking the backup of the virtual machine and you want to restore some other place, that type don't use data lake Gen 1. You can use Blob only. So for example, if you want to store some log information, so for example, virtual machine logs, that time you don't do any analysis, then you can go with the Blob storage. If you want to do further analysis, Microsoft suggested you can use the data lake. Okay, here these are the some capabilities of the Azure Data Lake, like built for Hadoop. This is built for Hadoop mostly. For example, you are getting the data from the sources and you want to execute some HD Insight program, or if you want to execute some Scala program on the top of the data and do transformation, then the best place is the Data Lake Gen 1. And one more important point is Data Lake Gen 1 will expire by 2024. It will be there, but Microsoft don't support after 2024. They introduced the Data Lake Gen 2. They requested all the customers to move from or to migrate from Data Lake Gen 1 to Gen 2. We will see Gen 2. Unlimited storage, petabyte files, performance tuned for big data analytics, enterprise ready, highly available and secure. Same thing. Whatever features available in the Blob storage, same features available in the data lake, but the advantage is it is compatible with the Hadoop framework. If you want to run any algorithms, the best place is the data lake Gen 1. Like data lake Gen 1, how we can access, how the file structure, I will show you. Suppose if you want to access ADLA from any third-party application or REST API or browser, you need to use the URL is like that way. I think Blob also we are accessing from the browser or Power BI or any third-party application. The URL here is in that one Blob storage. If you see the URL is, did you find or not? I'm not sure. Blob storage. Here you can see the URL is HTTP. Okay, I will type it this one. Suppose here blob address we can do like that. If you want to use any third-party applications, if you want in the portal, just you can log in with your username and password. But if you want to access this data from the third party or REST APIs, this is the URL we can use. This is the name of the your blob account. So but I showed you yesterday. Now coming to data lake, the URL will be like this way. We will see this one also while using example. Suppose if you go with data lake, the URI will be like this way. Okay, first we will create one data lake in the portal, then we will come to the topic again. Here, so for example, if you go to data lake, just you can search data lake. Here you can see data lake storage gen1. Just go to home, create a resource, just search in the marketplace like data lake. If you data lake, if I type data lake, it will give the data lake storage gen1. Now you can go to this one, create. Just as I mentioned, only my resource groups are not available. Okay, I am using different subscription, that is the reason. Resource group, here you can see, just I used the whatever I want and select the location. Generally whatever wherever resource group we have, maybe that one. Just here giving the name data lake DL test 1 2 or 3 something. Okay, here you can see data lake 123 dot azure data lake store dot. Then you will go to remaining all are pricing here. This is the very good option. Generally in the real-time applications, and apart from production environment, remaining we will go with the monthly commitment. So for example, we are going for 1,000 credits. After 1,000 credits it won't run. Why? Because we have the option to set some threshold point. So for example, like that way. So if you see, you can see only 1 TB. 1 TB data is saved after the, so for example, monthly we can go with 1 TB. So for example, what we can do is, in the developers, they will remove the whatever data they don't require. So generally, apart from the production, they will go with a monthly commitment. They will only charge for 2,523. They will allow only 1 TB. Otherwise, if you go as a pay as you go, no limitations. Clear? Generally, in the real-time scenarios, only production they will use pay as you go, and the month, and for remaining they will go with a monthly commitment. Just apart from that one, remaining all are just as it is default only. Just review and create. We will create. Just validation passed. Just create. This is like another storage, like a blob storage, but it is designed specifically for Hadoop compatible. Here, the file will be saved in the hierarchical manner. So for example, here file will be like, so for example, under data lake, you create one folder. After that one, you created another child folder. After that, you saved the file one. The architecture, like our Windows file system, it will be shown like a folder, child folder, and file one. But in the blob, no hierarchical level, just flatten. For example, if you in the blob, if you save like container is a data, and other than that one my data, and if you save some file one, it won't give any hierarchical, just it will file one only. It is maintaining the flattened level only. By looking, it will be saved my data, but it is just a logical thing only. Internally, they will file one is the location only. You don't go with this hierarchical level. But in the data lake, they maintain the hierarchical file structure. This is the main difference between the blob and data lake. Okay, then if you go to service, your deployment is ready. Just go to resource. Here you can see, as I mentioned, this is the name of the data lake. Like data. So, for example, if you want to see here, if you go to your how you can able to access, either you can go with the URI or you can go with the ADL URI. Generally, URL, whenever you are going to browse the data from the browsers, you can go with this HTTP, this one. So for example, if you want to use any REST API or to access data from the third party application, generally we will get the ADL URI. Either is fine. And same like other things like same left pane is there. For example, you want to provide access. For example, you want to role assigns. All this stuff I will show you later. This is the same storage. So for example, here data explorer is there. First what we can do is we will create, if you want, you can save the data at the root folder level. This is the root folder level, or otherwise if you want to save, you can create new folder like my data. Click on this one, my data folder will be created. Here you can see this is a hierarchical structure. So my data, and if you want to upload some file, just you can upload file. Example, say movie file, I will upload here also. Just allow, add selected file. It will be uploaded. So for example, here you can see your storage account and data explorer. That's fine. And now I am going to my data lake again. If you go to again data explorer, if you go to my data, I uploaded. What is the problem? Yeah, movies.csv. Okay, clear. Same properties, but here they don't provide the options like security key, SSH token if you want to browse the file. They don't provide. But in the blob they can provide, but whatever data we stored in the data lake, you can use the active directory authentication only. Here if you go to properties, it won't show anything, just it will give the path URL. Like here you can see my data movies.cs. Fine. Then coming to this one, here you can see I provided the uh, properties how you can able to access the data. Just using each Azure subscription can associate with the instance of Azure Active Directory. Only users and service identities that are that are defined in the Azure Data Factory service can only access your data lake Gen 1 account by using the portal or command line tools or through client applications. Your organization builds by using the data lake storage Gen 1 SD. I told you, only we can authenticate through Azure Active Directory. Data lake doesn't provide any access key, service, access token kind of thing like blob storage. Just here, if you want, then what we can do is definitely the user needs to be authenticated with the Azure Active Directory. Clear on data lake? Here's our example. We will see data lake how we are accessing this file from the this one Power BI. I will show you. First we will, then we will go with this one. Power BI desktop. And in the interview, generally, they will ask questions like what is the difference between Blob storage and data lake Gen 1. We, now I will go with the new connection, get data. Same like if you have a .NET application, you can able to access this data from the .NET application also. or Java. Okay, fine. Meanwhile, what we can do is we will discuss about the, here you can see I mentioned the storage accounts. What is the difference? They have some similarities are there. They have some differences also there. Generally in the interview, there is a chance they will ask generally, if you said like we have either the blob storage data like gen 1, we can tell like that, but immediately they will ask what is the difference between blob storage and data lake gen 1. The main difference is the file saving structure. In the data lake, it is using the hierarchical format, and in the blob, it is a flatten. That is the most important. Here you can see difference. For example, purpose. This is used for the only optimized storage for big data analysis. This is general purpose along with the storage scenarios, and here also big data analytics we can able to run Databricks or any Hadoop programming on the whatever data stored in the blob storage also. But performance wise, data lake is better than the blob storage. So for example, if you don't want performance, if you want to storage, save storage cost, you can still going with the blob storage, no issues. And use cases, when we are going with the blob storage, Microsoft suggested this one. So for example, if you have this kind of use cases, better you can go with the storage. Still better you can go with the data lake. Still storage also support, but it will give some better performance. Data lake storage gen 1 account contains folder, which in turn contains data stored as a files. But here everything is stored as an object only. Here you can see storage account has containers, which in turn has data into the form of objects or blobs. That is the main difference. For example, internally, while saving data, they use a different formats. That is the reason while you are accessing also some performance differences are there. And structure. This is the most important hierarchical file system here. Flat namespace. Remaining all REST API both will be accessible. Server side API also both will. Hadoop file system client both are compatible. And authentication wise, it is providing POSIX authentication. But this is like if we provide the authentication of the child level, it will inherit to the parent also, like kind of thing. But here that authentication is not there. But we need to access this data from the like access key, shared access signature. We saw now yesterday like that way. But the data operations available same like remaining work. One more important is in the data lake, it doesn't provide the geo redundancy apart from the local LRS. I think while creating blob, we have the option. We need to choose whether you can go with the LRS, GRS. But in the blob, they will only provide the option LRS only. Other than that one, we don't. So for example, if you want that type of scenario, data lake is not suitable. If you want to use any geo redundancy, you can go with blob. If in any interviewer asks, you can tell the two main points are structure. Files are the hierarchical format. This is the flattened format. Here they don't provide the redundancy other than the LRS. In this, like POS access, here we can able to use access keys and shared SAS, shared access signature, but that is not available in the data lake gen. Data lake are specifically designed for the big data analytics. Blob is designed for big data analytics along with the general purpose. If you tell the three main points, that is enough. Or otherwise, if you have some other points, you can tell. Both are similar, but these are the main differences. Clear? Huh? Data lake gen 1 and gen 2. Sorry, blob storage and now I will use Azure. Here we use the data lake gen 1. Here Azure data lake gen 1. Just connect. Here it is asking the URL. Then you can go to data lake. You can give URL or this one, either is fine. I will go with the URL. Then if I give URL here, here you can see This is the name of your account name. For example, you create a new one, you can give here new one. Then go to OK. Then it will ask here. Earlier it is asking access key, but now no option. Only you need to authenticate with the Active Directory exist in the Azure. Now I can able to access using my credentials. What I can do is I will provide this one. Now you can able to connect. Now you can see my data. If you want, just load. I will get error. Why? Because my machine has a problem with the OLEDB driver. I can't able to fix that one. Why? Because my other remaining parts won't work. So for example, you don't get this error. If you get it, we can be able to fix in your local machines. No problem. So for example, if I go to, if you want to see same data, just data source settings here, or otherwise just you can go to transform data. Here it will show you that one. Here you can see query one. If I see table, if I here you can see whatever data. Just if I close and apply, if I don't have any that OLGDB driver error, my data will be ready to use for the Power BI. Just close and apply. This Power Query editor will prepare the data set for me. I think if you are familiar with Power BI, just whenever we are extracting the data, this is the import method. This is not the direct method. Just it will give the data. Then I can play with this data in the Power BI. I think I will try to fix. Okay, fine. Got it. How to access a file in the uh, data lake Gen 1. If you want, I will add one more file and we will see. Okay, for your reference, what I can do is I will have some other files are also there. I will go back, maybe customer. What is the customer? Okay, now customer is also there. What we can do is if you go to here, I think if you go to this, okay, first I will upload file data explorer, the my data, you can upload. Now I go to training content, just or otherwise another CSV also fine. I will go with employee, then add selected data. Oh, my data is there. If you want, just go to Explorer, just refresh this one. If you want to see the data here also you can able to see. So for example, I want to go with Power BI. I want to see this data. I think if you go refresh view. Okay, fine. Then why query one is showing remaining? What about remaining data? 1 minute. Just what I can do is I will use again. Generally, it will refresh. It will show as another file. Just go to Azure Data Lake Gen 1. Just go to connect. You are provide the URL. My data. Okay. If I load data, then I will get it. Two files I will get it. Query 2 now. Okay. I'm getting error. Then I can go to transform data. Here you can see. Query 1 is this one. If you want query 2 is a my data table. Here you need to choose. Now I will choose employee text. Clear? Huh? Jen, just if you close and save, your two data sets will be ready, and you can play with in the Power BI. This is the text data. This is the CSV data. Whatever format of data, if you want to import into the Power BI, you can able to. Clear? Huh?
Surya sir,
Yes, please.
uh, if you created your account, then how
Hmm.
I can access data from your account?
No, it's
Like
not
in
possible. It's not possible. I will tell you that authentication. What we can do is we have one free subscription. What I can do is in that one I will create the users. I will give access on the Azure Active Directory.
okay,
Clear?
okay, sir.
This is right now I have access on the Active Directory. So for example, if you want, I will show you why I can able to access is in this portal. If you go to Active Directory, generally I can't able to see this one. I will show you tomorrow. Why? Because this is not good to show to you. I will show you tomorrow, and tomorrow we will try with our free subscription. I think Arab provided that one. Thank you, Arab. Abar. Okay, fine. Just anybody, only authentication required. So, for example, whenever you are trying to Azure portal, what it will give, it will create the token. It will send back to the Active Directory. Active Directory will authenticate the token and will send back the response to the Power BI. I will show you tomorrow. So for example, what I can do is I will create all our users and you can able to access data or not. We will see that one. Okay. Tomorrow I will show you that one.
Okay, sir.
Clear? Okay, fine. Good. I don't save. Okay, fine. Got it. Data lake. Mostly data lake in the application they used whenever you are going with to transform the data using Azure Data Lake Analytics. I will show you that scenario in the our coming days. Don't worry. But as of now, you need to understand whatever we have discussed: Azure Blob Storage and Azure Data Lake Gen 1. Azure
Can
Blob
we
Storage. Mm, yes,
can
please.
we store any type of data inside Gen 1,
Gen 1,
like
yes,
Gen
you
1,
can. Yeah,
like
like Blob Storage.
unrestricted?
Yeah, you can also. But the problem is Microsoft doesn't suggest. Why? Because you have some backup file is there. You want to you can able to save. No problem, no issue. It will accept. So for example, whatever data it will accept. But the problem is you don't get any benefit. For example,
Okay,
you have a
like
backup file. So I
okay,
will give the example. So for
okay, sir.
example, you have the database backup. So for example, your report users using the data only first week of the month. Later they don't use. So what we can do is we will take the backup of the database and we will remove the service from the portal. Database, whatever we have selected, database we will delete. The backup file, what I can do is I will store at the, you can store at the on-premises also, no problem. But the problem is maybe there is a loss. We are not sure. So what we can do, we will store in the either Azure Blob Storage or Azure Data Lake. You can save it any place, no restriction. But the problem is Azure Blob Storage, the storage cost is less compared to Azure Data Lake. I don't play with any transformations. Why I can go with the Data Lake? Why I can pay to more amount? That is the reason. Clear? Huh?
Okay, sir.
So for example, like virtual machine logs. For example, why we need virtual machine logs? Actually, what is the going on in the backend? Who access that that one? Which files they access? Everything they save. So for example, if I take my mission, Accenture will save all my logs. They don't play. Whenever they're required, they will play. For example, in one mission, currently they use it for the 10 days or 1 week. Later, what they can do? They will take the backup and put it into the some storage. They will maintain 3 months logs or 1 month log kind of thing. They don't play anything the data, but whenever they required, they will see the data. This kind of data earlier they stored in their on-premises data servers. Now they are migrated to Azure. They used the Azure Blob Storage. They can able to use Data lake also, but no use. Data lake is a chargeable thing and it is more cost compared to Blob, Azure Blob storage. So only data lake they will use whenever you are going to do any transformation. I will show you that one. Then you will guys get a good understanding when you can use the blob storage. In the interview, there is a chance you will get the question like what is the difference between the blob storage and data lake Gen 1. Nowadays, they are asking what is the difference between data lake Gen 2 and data lake Gen 1. I will show you that one also. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we can move to the data lake Gen 2. Just you can read the screen. I will upload this one into the Google Drive. Just ping your Gmail address. I will upload this one and have give read access to all of you. All of you just ping in the chat box your Gmail or any email. Now we can go with the data lake Gen 2. Actually, Microsoft established this service I think 2 years back. Earlier we don't have this option, but they suggested data lake Gen 1 will available, but they will support until 2024. After that one, if you have any, so for example, you can't able to access data lake Gen 1, Microsoft don't support. If you write ticket also, they don't support. So why? Because they try to promote their new service data lake Gen 2, but they want to keep their old service, but they are giving some time. So until that time, if you migrate, that is better. Otherwise, you can keep as it is data lake Gen 1, no problem. But if you have any issues, Microsoft doesn't support. And coming to data lake Gen 2, this is a combination of, I can say, Gen 2, data lake Gen 2, just this is a combination of Gen 1 plus blob feature. For example, some applications like they want to use the geo redundancy, but existing data Gen 1 they can't able to. Some users requested, Microsoft realized okay, we need to provide this option. That is the reason Gen 2 they created the news as a new service. But Gen 2, I will show you 1 minute. Gen 2 and Gen 1 no difference, just only one property difference. I will show you while creating the Gen 2 application. Here you can see, just read the this one why they are going with the Gen 2. Azure Blob Gen 2 is a set of capabilities dedicated to big data analytics built on Azure Blob Storage. Just whatever missing in the blob, I told you, data like Gen 1 is specifically designed to work on the big data analytics, so they integrated that one on top of the blob storage. That is nothing but a Gen 2. Data lake Gen 2 converges the capabilities of data lake Gen 1 with blob storage only. For example, data lake Gen 2 provides file system semantics, file level security and scale. Earlier we don't have. Now when we go with the data lake Gen 2, these are all features are come. Why? Because blob will provide that one. Because these capabilities are built on blob storage, you will also get low cost tied storage with high availability disaster recovery capabilities. So, a fundamental part of data lake Gen 2 is the addition of the hierarchical namespace to the blob storage. I clearly mentioned earlier in the blob storage, everything is the flattened structure. In the data lake, we have a hierarchical structure. So they integrated that one into the existing blob storage. Now they recall it as a data lake Gen 2. But they are giving the option for the end users. Right now also you can only go with the blob offers, or otherwise you can go with the Gen 2 options. I will show you while creating the hierarchical namespace organizes. Here you can see objects or files into the hierarchy of the directories of affected efficient data access. Data lake storage Gen 2 builds on blob storage and enhance performance management and security in the following ways. So whatever features we have in the Gen 1, they try to implement in the blob storage. That is nothing but a data lake Gen 2. Clear? Now I can show you where we have the difference. If you if you want to, sorry, my mouse is going. Okay. Now I will show you. So, for example, if you want to create the data lake Gen 2, if you type data lake, it won't give. Why? Because they prepared the service on top of Blob storage. Now you can storage account. Just if you want to create data lake Gen 2, you can go with the storage account only. Now I will create. I will show you where is the difference. Now we will use the test 123 only. Now storage account data lake Gen 2 example. Same like our blob storage, these all are common standard storage. You can see in the blob storage, they don't provide any provision of the account type or replications. Why? Because that is default. You don't have the option. Why they are providing this type of one? Based on your usage, if you change the account kind or replication, cost will be decreased. But in the data lake, no, there is a fixed service. Now what way they can do is, here I don't go with the read access geo-replicant, I will go with the local redundancy only. Now go to networking, this is all default only, data protection also default. Here we have the difference. Here if you see, if you want data lake storage Gen 2 or Gen 1, now I will enable this one, then this is called it as a data lake Gen 2. This is the only difference. Data lake Gen 2. Now you can review and create. Just create.
Will you require a blob if we already subscribe for Gen 2?
I'm sorry.
Will you require blob storage also with Gen 2, or Gen 2 is enough
Only
for all things?
Gen 2, we don't have any separate service. It is integrated in the blob. Just they provide the option like whether you can go with the Gen 2 feature or not. Just you can enable that one. Remaining features, if you can play with, if you can go with coal or hot, whatever, that's fine. They will prepare on top of the. I will show you. Go to resource. Here, same like storage, name and everything is same. No difference. Only here you can see it is like a container. Here you can see this is like a file structure of thing one. But when you go to your blob storage, whatever I created, here you can see this is the container approach. Once you created, you can't able to change. So for example, if you don't enable, it will work as a blob only. If you enable that feature, that will work as a data lake Gen 2. You don't see any difference. Just that is the difference only. If you see, go to here you can see remaining all are same. Access keys, all this stuff is same. But what they implemented is, they implemented the new feature, that is files, for example, big data analytics. If you save the data in the blob, that won't work efficiently. That is the reason they integrated that environment into the this existing blob. They use the containers. They name it as containers, but internally they saved as a hierarchical format instead of flattened format. Clear? Same, no difference, but only format will be changed. How you can identify whether it is a blob or data lake Gen 2? Only difference you can see with the containers.
Okay,
Clear?
sir. Yes.
Same thing, for example, if you want to access this data, you can able to access. Same whatever blob, but only internal difference only. They will ask in the interview also. How you can identify whether it is a blob or not? Just a container symbol will be changed. Clear? Storage is clear.
Sir.
Storages, they will ask questions like What is the difference between Blob storage and data lake Gen 1? Another question is, what is the difference between Azure Data Lake Gen 1 and Gen 2? Another question is, I will explain you 1 minute. There is a chance. First question is difference between Blob storage and data lake Gen 1. This is the first question. Second question is data lake Gen 1 and data lake Gen 2. Third one is storage, Blob storage and Gen 2. Data lake Gen 2. Mostly in the interviews, you have a chance in the storages. These are the 3 questions. You guys need to prepare like that way. And another question may be in the Blob storage, what is hot, cold, dry. For example, if I want to, they will ask like question like, I have a data I don't want to use very frequently. Which tier is preferable to store the data in the Blob storage? Cool store, cool tier. Why? In the cool tier, storage cost is less, but processing is high. Why? Because no problem. Why? Because we don't use very frequently. So, for example, take the backup. Only we use it only one time every month. Remaining time just if it is keep in the storage, that is enough. In that scenario, I will go with the cool tier. I don't go with the hot tier. In the hot, the storage is high, but processing is cost. So if you use daily data, if you daily access, you can go with the hot. That is another question. And another is geo redundancy. How many types of geo redundancy are there? What is the use of that geo? LRS, ZRS, GRS, GZRS. They will ask this type of questions. And one more question they will ask like the what is the difference between this table storage, blob storage, file, when you can use. Just you can read it this one, just give this, that is enough. Mainly they will ask like a question like what is the difference between Azure Q storage and Azure table storage. The Q storage, when we are going to use, whenever we are doing any message communication between the any Azure services, we are going with the Q storage. Suppose if you want to store table format of data in a structured way, used for NoSQL, we can go with the Azure table structure. Azure disks. When we are going with the Azure disks, only we are going with the VMs only. So for example, if you want to any VM kind of things, then we will go with the Azure disk kind of thing. Generally, Azure disk files also they don't ask. Mostly they will ask queue and table only. Clear? Huh?
Yeah, clear. Thank you, Surya.
Okay, now I will I will show you how you can access the data. What are the different ways you store the data in the Blob storage? Fine, Blob or whatever Azure storage. They have different tools are there. Right now we are using the applications. These applications are called REST API. Lot of things are there. Web API, REST API. So nowadays, that is the one option. One option is how you can access REST APIs. Now you can use in the browser also internally, that is REST API. And other options are other options they will provide. If you want, for example, you don't want to log in into the Azure portal, you want to play with your data, they have provided Azure Storage Explorer. Like that way, Azure Storage Explorer. Another one is Azure command line interface. Azure CLI is there. You can write in the PowerShell script or shell, whatever scripts you can able to do, you can able to maintain. For example, in your mission, Azure PowerShell is there. You don't need to log in into the portal. All this Just you can use the scripting and you can able to do whatever you work. You can store the file, but these all option I can't able to show right now. I only show Azure Storage Explorer. Okay, I think mostly in the real-time environment also, most of the I think every people they interested to see in the interfaces. Another that one writing scripts. Writing scripts, if you have familiar with the scripts, no problem. You can use either this tool. But right now I will show you Azure Storage Explorer. Azure Storage Explorer, just it is a tool. Just you can able to download from the um, Google. This is the exe kind of thing. Just you can type Azure Storage Explorer download. Just you can download and install. That's fine. I already installed my machine, so I will show you how to play with Azure Storage Explorer. You can click on this one, Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer. Just this is the tool you need to install. This is just exe. You can able to play with whatever right now upload, download, everything you can able to do from this desktop tool.
All the things we can do with the web.
So Storage Explorer, yes. Whatever you can upload, you can give permissions, everything we can able to do from Storage Explorer. I think based on our interest, we can go with. Actually, the problem is if you have good mission, I think most of the people prefer Storage Explorer compared to Portal.
Surya, in real time, they are using this one.
In the real time also, just so for example, if I want
You
to
have
some
notices.
static files are there, I want to load into
Okay.
my applications. So
Okay.
not only that purpose, any purpose, for example, whatever you can able to do from the portal. So for example, here, for example, this is my right now, this is my subscription. I have multi subscriptions are there, but right now I'm doing this one. Why? Because right now we are playing with this one. Here, so for example, if you see, you whatever data you have right now, whatever we have uploaded, what we can do is using Storage Explorer, I will upload some files and I will go back to the portal and I will see. Okay, here you can see whatever
Yeah,
storage
got it.
accounts I have. Got it? Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
So here,
Yes.
but how you can use this one is different ways are there. If you go here left side, open content dialog is there, na? Or
Yes,
otherwise
yes.
here you can manage accounts. Just click on manage accounts. Here you need to add an account. You can add multiple
Okay.
accounts. Here in the add an account, multiple options are there. Generally, we can go with the username and password. Here, add an Azure account. Next, click, or otherwise shared access signature. Shared access signature only useful for a blob storage only. Attach a local email. All these stuffs are there. But generally, add a resource via either we can go with this one, this one. If it will ask the username and password, then you can configure our. Clear? Huh? For example, if you go
Yes,
with
sir.
username and password, whatever subscriptions you have, those subscriptions show here. But you need to check. So for example, I have 2 subscriptions in my current user, but I want to see only second one only. I don't want to see first one. You can
Yes.
have the option. Just I already added. Just that's straight away only. That's
In
not a
our
big.
offices, using.
I'm sorry. Hello. I didn't get your question. Can you please repeat? Suppose here you can see if you go to this one here, blob containers. I think so far we have any files. I think 1 minute. DL. What is the DL Gen 1 example? Containers. We don't have any. Now what we can do is I don't see here Gen 2 example. DT Gen 2 example in the blob containers. I don't have any. So what I can do is here, 1 minute. What I can do is this is I want to. Here you can see this is give the option. So for example, upload, download, delete, everything it will give. So for example, if you want to upload some file, this all stuffs are there. But here in the blob, I need to create new blob and I need to. Or otherwise, what we can do is here upload files or folders, whatever it may be. You can able to create folder also, or here you can able to provide. So for example, no file selected. Now you can select files. For example, in that one, I will go to Azure best training files. I don't want to move this one. So for example, bank one file. Just upload. Here you can see it will give the whether it is uploaded or not. All this stuff it will give. Same thing you can see at the whatever you have uploaded here. But another advantage here is it will work very efficiently while copying or download. So for example, from the portal, they have provided the limitation. It will be more than 200 MB or 250 MB. You can't able to download from the portal. If you want to download that file, you need to use either Azure Explorer or Azure CLI only. Clear restriction? Hello? For example, my client is exported some file more than 200 MB or 250 MB. If I want to see the data from the portal, you can't able to download. They have a restriction only. They will allow until 200 or 250 MB only. If the file is more than that one, only option is you need to go to this one and you need to download from the Explorer. Explorer will work size no difference. Mostly it will work up to GBs also, but it will take time. But there is no restriction. Download and upload file size, no restriction in the Azure Storage Explorer. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now I export where I have exported here blob containers deity gen 2 example. We will go to this one d2 gen example. If you refresh containers, click container to get start container. Why I didn't see it? 1 minute. Where I uploaded? I don't see. Data is there. Okay, fine. Now what I can do is here. If you go, here test one. Internet will use the easy copy. Will always upload. Bank one C data. Now what I can do is I will blob containers. I need to refresh this one. Refresh on in the data like gen 2 blob containers. Here data is there. The data I don't have any. Now what I can do is I will upload file. Bank to destination directory. No issue. this data is there. Now I can this one dt gen to example. dt gen to example. Here you can see back to it there. Na? Suppose what I can do is I will upload some file. So for example, I will upload employee one. Just upload employee one upload. Now you can refresh here. You will see that file data lake blob storage. If you go to data, you can do refresh here also. Refresh. Here you can see employment. Suppose if you want to download, just select this one. You can download also. Generally, so here you can see you have the option manage access also. If you click on this one, if you do any access also, you can able to do. Getting permissions for data one, whatever permissions you want, which user you want to add, all this you can maintain from the blob storage also. Clear? Sorry, from Azure Storage Explorer also. Clear? Azure Storage Explorer. Generally, in the real-time environment, if you want to play with or upload any file, you will get the advantage here. You size no limitation. For example, if you want to download any file more than 200 or 250, some limitation, I think 250 as my, you only can able to download from the Storage Explorer. You can't able to download from the portal. In the portal, while uploading also, there is no limitation, but it will take more time, too much time. But if you use Storage Explorer, it will be finished in quick. Generally, in the real time, we will use the Storage Explorer to play data, upload, download. We are using, instead of portal, we are using the Storage Explorer. Like that, you can use Azure CLI also, command line also. There commands are there. You can use commands. You can able to use AZ copy also. Internally, Storage Explorer user AZ copy only. Different options are there, but if you know basics, that's fine. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
That's it for
Just we need to
storage.
practice.
Okay, now what we can do is, I think 1 minute, wait. What we can do is we will try with, I will log off this one. I think he is provided one free account. Use another account. I will use that one. Okay, anyhow, fine. Tomorrow we will practice on this one. Today what I can do is I will use the admin account, whatever provided by the Uber, and I will try to create 2 or 3 users on that one, and I think you guys can share with that users and you can try to. I can able to create how many users I want, but it will okay. Users no harm. We can create. We will see how we can practice, but cost also we need to look into that one. Okay, we will see how it goes. Okay. Tomorrow I will show you a demo using our personal account, free account. I will create the users, how you can access from the applications. I will show you. Clear? Huh?
Yeah, okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, just I think everyone typed your Gmail address. Huh? Okay.
Yes, yes.
What you can do is, meanwhile, after this session, I will upload our I think this Power PPT and what else you require? Just
Sir,
you
I
can read
need
it.
recording, sir. First to
Recording
recording.
also. Yeah. Who is asking?
Yeah, Hashim, sir.
Ashram,
Actually,
okay.
I was not fine, so I
Oh, no
haven't.
problem. Yeah, I will upload and I will share with you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Okay,
Surya, that now, so we are running a notebook in the class.
This one also I will upload. This one also, no issue.
Yeah,
I will
it
save
is
it.
very useful for me.
Okay, fine. If you guys are okay, fine. Otherwise, I will give here more description also. Because maybe this is very high level. Na?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
just
yes.
if you,
It's
yeah,
fine, no problem.
if it is
Anyway,
fine,
in
okay,
the
fine.
PPT, is there, na?
PPT, everything is there in the PPT. Everything
Yeah,
is generally no one will
we
share this
will read
PPT.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
we will read
just I
there
will
and
give. Yeah, I will give only read access. Just you can able to read it only. I think generally no one will share this type of information. But okay, fine. I don't have any objection. Just I will share with you. Just you can read it. Okay,
yeah, sure,
clear? Huh?
sure.
Okay,
Yes, Surya. Thank
tomorrow
you.
we will start another storages like databases. Just I will give just insight only. Before going to Azure SQL, what we can do is first we will set up our environment and we will play with. Okay, right now Abar is providing the free subscription. I think by another 10 or 15 days, someone will try for another credit card. Why? Because at least we need 2 subscriptions to complete the session. I'm requesting anyone please try that one. I think first thank you Abar for this subscription. Okay, na?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, fine, sir. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, fine. Thank you. And okay, I got 1 minute. If I close session, I will lose everything. I will take the chart and I will paste in my local. Okay, that's it for today. After this one, I will create the Google Drive and I will provide the access. You can check after 1 hour. I think that time you will get the access.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Bye.
Up.
Krishna dot